What's up, y'all? Welcome to Conversation Piece with Patrick Armstrong. I am the titular Patrick, and this is a show where we talk about the missing pieces of the conversations we're already having. Shout out to our returning listeners, and a high five and hello to everybody joining us for the very first time. I appreciate y'all being here in month 2 of 2024. My guest today is one of Indianapolis's very own, a rapper, songwriter, and record producer who has built a reputation as a voice of reason in the streets with his brand of sophisticated street music. His music is a blend of cerebral boom-bap trap prophecies and braggadocious flows over modern productions with a message of introspection, self-awareness, and empowerment. His most recent album, 2023's Sorry for My Trauma, debuted at number 6 on the iTunes Rap and Hip Hop Albums chart, and it delves into the traumas and triumphs of his life on the east side of Indianapolis. It is an honor and privilege to welcome the dude Skypp to the show. Skypp, what's up?
Going on, Pat? Appreciate you having me, man.
Absolutely. I appreciate you joining me here in my home. We just discovered recently that we don't live too far apart.
Not at all.
And unfortunately, this weekend I was out of town, so I couldn't hoop together. But for folks who don't know, we share the court from time to time as both teammates and opponents.
Yes, indeed.
It was very good.
Good times.
Very good times. Really enjoyed it. I remember the first time that we played, and I was just like, this dude is playing for real. Because the group of guys that we play with, like, we play for real, but it's also like there's varying skill levels. And you came in and just raised the bar immediately. So I'm like, okay, I got to step my game up.
I appreciate it. I just go hard like basketball. I'm too competitive, man. I hate losing. So give my all.
But what I really love is that you, even if you take an L on the court, like, it doesn't weigh on you, I don't feel like, and you're not, like, holding no grudges against the people that you played against or played with. Yeah. So I think that's really nice because
I love the competition, man. Like, I just want to get back out there and get my win. You know, somebody beats me, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll be back.
100%. You always are. You always are. For folks who are listening, I gave you a little bit of intro, but if they don't know who you are, do you mind just sharing a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, born and raised in Indianapolis, Indiana. You know, I go by the name of Skypp. That's spelled Skypp. I've been doing music since high school. I started writing in middle school, and it just really took off in high school, though. And when I saw those results, it kind of gave me leeway, you know, made me realize this could be something, you know, making money throughout the high school, burning CDs in my video production class and just making money and having money in my pocket. I'm like, this is just the beginning. You know, I could really turn this into a career.
100%. You started writing in middle school. Do you remember like the feelings that you had the first time you put the pen on the page and started to just creatively produce? Like, what was that initial feeling like?
I think I might have been a little discouraged. You know, I don't think it was as good as I would have liked it to be.
Sure.
But like I told you about basketball, man, I just go hard at everything. So I just felt like I wasn't going to settle for being mediocre.
Yeah.
So I just kept going. And, you know, essentially I grew. It's inevitable. Like, you're going to grow.
Absolutely.
You know, you keep working at something, you're going to grow and get better.
100%. Was that something that did you like tell anybody? You're like, hey, I'm starting to write some raps. I'm like, I'm getting into this. Or was that something that you kept to yourself? How did that process play out?
I had 2 friends that was also on the same path. I had a buddy, Josh Halliburton, a buddy, Justin Black. I don't remember what their artist names were, but we always used to swap notebooks and stuff. And those were the 2 people who knew in middle school that I wrote music. And I had an experience, you know, I had an experience where 2 girls in class, they came and they knew we were writing our raps and swapping books. So they came and took my book and opened it. You know, the teacher was away for a second, and they opened my book, stood in the middle of the class, and just started reciting it in like a way that wouldn't make me sound good, even if it was good.
Sure. You
know, so it would hurt most people's feelings, but it kind of turned me up. Like, it made me want to, okay, oh, you think I'm a joke. You know, like, it made me want to turn into a beast, and that's exactly what I did. I turned into a beast. And I made a song before, and I thanked them by name in the song, like, thank you for turning me into who I am. Like,
there you go.
I would have been so shy and bashful. You know, I probably would have never changed how nervous I was to break out, you know, but they made me want to break out. They made me want to, you know, be who I am.
100%.
Yeah.
Were you a little introverted when you were growing up as a kid?
Yeah, absolutely, okay. Yeah. I mean, I just moved a lot.
Yeah.
We moved around a lot, so I never really made friends. And actually, from this point moving forward, our life became consistent. But before then, it wasn't.
Okay.
So I was always introverted because I just didn't know anybody well enough.
Sure.
But I definitely built some real strong relationships with people moving forward from that moment.
100%. Who was so you find yourself settling now where you're at, and you're starting to write a little bit. What was the indie hip hop scene like back then, and what were you? Who was inspiring you at that time?
Yeah, so the hip hop scene in Indianapolis was thriving. It was mainly a scene that I like to call like the Midwest League scene. I'm not sure if you ever heard of Midwest League.
Yeah.
But they had 100 ENT, which was Dro Man. He had the Jiggle 8 song, T-Eazy and his whole camp. Swole, he had a song called Ice Cold. Maxie, he was known as Young Tone back then. Little Nut, like it was thriving, man.
Yeah.
Goldie P was doing his thing out in Atlanta with Young Jeezy. And he's actually the first person that took a liking to us besides Swole. I think it was Swole first, then it was Goldie P. But it was just like, it felt so exclusive to be a part of it. You know what I mean? So it was just thriving. It's a much different scene now than what it was then.
Yeah. And like seeing those folks doing their thing, and like to have like that culture and community at that time, like it's thriving then, maybe not necessarily now. It was that also the drive to like, oh, I can succeed in this game.
Yeah, I just wanted to be in that conversation in those communities. Like I said, it was exclusive.
Yeah.
So of course it made me want to get better and keep writing, and hopefully one day be a part of that community and in those conversations and in those rooms.
100%.
Sure. Yeah.
What was the first time you found yourself in that room?
Oh, that's a great question. When we were in high school, me and my guy Big Woog, back then he was known as Woogie, and we were a rap group called Wise Click. I think the homie Swole, because we were recording at Sky High Productions, and Swole was a part of Sky High Productions, and he walked in, heard us rap, and he was just like, "Hey, man, I want to make a song with y'all too,"
Okay.
So Swole was a big deal in that point in time because he had a hit song called Ice Cold that still goes crazy to this day.
Yeah.
That was probably the first time, and then the second time was Woog's mom actually worked with Goldie P at some kind of, I think, assistant living home or something, and she let Goldie P hear our music, and he took a strong liking to us and invited us out to Maxie's video shoot. Maxie was a very big deal at that time. Goldie P was a big deal. He invited us out, and we were around all the legends of the city, just young 16, 17-year-old kids. So those were probably the first two times I felt like I was a part of the community.
That's what's up. It's interesting, I feel like you hear about people recording in studios and just like really starting and to cut their teeth, and then somebody comes across them like that's been operating in that scene and is like, oh, okay, you're really doing it out here, and you get that invite. What was it like to then be on that set? Like you're in the room now, like you're around these legends that you've been listening to. It's like in the city. What were you? Did it feel like you made it, or was it like this is the first step or the next step on this journey that I'm on?
It definitely felt like the first step because like Goldie P was not hestant to introduce us to everybody there.
For sure.
And like this video shoot in particular was at a park. Everybody had their old school cars out, so Goldie P took our CD and put it in the CD player, like the loudest car, and just bumped it so loud. Everybody's like, who is he? Who is this? So it just felt really exclusive, but we didn't let it go to our head. Like we knew this was just the beginning. Like they're just hearing about us. We won over their ears. Now it's time to win over their hearts. That's how I felt.
That.
Yeah, that's how I felt about it. I'm like, okay, now the door is open, so let's kick it in and let's go.
I love that. Okay, what's the journey like from this point? Because, we're going to talk about Sorry for My Trauma here in a second, but you've been very prolific. Like you've put out not just a lot of albums, but a lot of mixtapes. You've been featured on a lot of songs. Right. Where does that, like, showing up on that set, finding a little bit of that validation, that recognition, where does that take you from that point leading into 2023?
Well, the way me and Big Woog work, man, we just like I said, we just hit full throttle. We started dropping more and more mixtapes. I started something called Skypp Saturdays, which is like legendary in Indianapolis.
Okay.
Every Saturday I would drop a freestyle. I got to about, I think, 130 something editions before.
Damn.
Yeah, before I was forced out of the SoundCloud community for copyright infringement, rapping on other people's beats.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So they told me I had 2 strikes, and after the 3rd strike, they would take down every edition. So I figured I would just go ahead and vault them and let them stay there rather than losing them all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, things just went up. I ended up going solo after a couple years because I just had different expectations for myself, and it was certain stuff we were rapping about that I just didn't want to entertain it anymore. I wanted to be a more reality, artist rather than speaking about stuff that didn't make me feel good. So yeah, I went solo, and honestly, everything just went up. Everything just went up. It kind of felt surreal, and it happened so fast. But it was definitely a time, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, 2 questions out of that. The first one is, when is there ever a time Skypp Saturdays like that vault opens up? Can you pull all of that off SoundCloud, find another way to release? Is there ever a time that we might be able to get that back?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely considered it. I have a website, and I actually had loaded up a page and found a little MP3 player that you can put on like your website. And Skypp Saturdays is on there.
Okay.
Continuing it though is a different conversation. Like I wouldn't mind doing it. I just feel like it's a different day and age, and I just don't know if it would be as successful as it was then, because nobody was doing that.
Yeah.
Now you got people dropping songs every week, dropping albums every month. Like, it's just not the same.
It is. It's really not. It doesn't. It feels like, well, we're in this time of immediacy culture where it's just like everything. I don't even know if it's a sense of urgency. It just happens really fast.
Right.
And it can feel, I think, really it can feel difficult to keep up all the time. And it feels like you almost have to produce. And then we were talking before we hopped on here, like it can get to a point where it's just like your quality suffers because you're trying to achieve quantity. And I don't know if that's like people stay relevant that way, but I don't know. For me, it's not necessarily that way. I do a weekly show, but it's like I want to do a quality show. It's not like I'm trying to do a show every week. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I would have to do something super unique and different to continue Skypp Saturday. It couldn't just be a regular freestyle every week. Like, I don't know. I have to brainstorm on it. But trust me, people have been asking me since I stopped. I think 2019 was the last time I put one out. Yeah, they've been asking nonstop.
So the demand is there. All right. Second question is, you talked about it's just been going up, and I heard you share on another show about how, like, each one of your successive albums, every time you dropped on iTunes, has charted higher.
Right.
And so, can you talk about like what that feeling is to see each successive project continue to rise on that album? Like, what was that feeling like for you? Is that just pure validation, or what does that look like, as you continue on?
Yeah, it's validation, but it's really just nerve-wracking because, like, you don't want to go backwards, right? So it's just like, man, I outdid myself last time. Is it even possible for me to outdo myself again? And I just been grateful and blessed to just keep outdoing myself. And I honestly don't know how I'm going to outdo myself this time. Like, I was number 6, so I would have to crack the top 5. I don't know. I mean, but I'm not going to put it past myself because I've already proven to myself that I can keep raising the bar. So I'm just trying to be creative. On my last album, my promotional pieces were like skits, which was really different and which really raised so much awareness because it was non-music content.
Sure.
They're used to getting music from me, but not comedy skits, Sure. So it kind of drove the traffic up and the expectation, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, let's talk about that then. Let's talk about Sorry for My Trauma. I love the idea of, taking a different route. And I think one of the things that I really loved about this album was the interspersing of like the voicemail aesthetic from different people in your life, affirming all of these things that you're doing, talking about the different stages that you've been in. And I don't think we talked about this last time, but, promoting via skits. What was it like to step into this different role of maybe actor? I don't know if you consider yourself an actor, but like putting these types of skits together to put these things out. What was it like to evolve in that way?
I encourage you, Pat, to listen to my 2021 album, King of Indiana.
Okay.
It's a title you won't forget.
Yeah.
The most theatrical album you'll probably ever hear. It's like a movie, but it's it's an album. But that's what I do. Like these things, I have an album called 10th, which is very movie themed.
Okay.
10th, King of India. Like these are things I like to do to build a storyline.
Okay, so you've been doing it. Then.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is probably the least creative one I've done with voicemails because it was so rushed. Like I always tell myself I need to have some kind of aspect of the album that feels like a storyline that adds more than music. It's more personal. King of Indiana, I outdid myself with the storyline.
Okay.
Like the skits are crazy.
Sure.
But Yeah, like this was like the least that I did. I just kept thinking about if this is about my trauma, who can speak on that? And I'm like, who better than the people who watched me go through it? You know what I mean? So I
100%.
reached out to maybe 10 or 15 people, and I'm just like, hey, just call me, leave me a voicemail, and just talk about, what you appreciate about my growth
Sure.
from then to now.
Yeah. Well, I think that's really interesting you say that, because I feel like this project itself is very narrative driven too.
Right.
At least the way that I took it, I feel like it's, from Ghetto Child to My Real Name is Byron is this one through line of like your entire journey, or at least as much as you want to share with us. How is that different then from your other projects? You say it might be the least cinematic in that way in terms of storyline, but what's different about this particular project as opposed to the things that have come before?
Just how personal it is. Like I've always speaking generally about struggles and stuff, but I've never talked about alcohol abuse in my family. You know what I mean? I've talked about my dead friends, but not to the depth that I spoke about it in Sorry for My Trauma.
Sure.
Like it just got much deeper and much more personal and introspective. Like, I don't know, everything I was ever uncomfortable talking about, I talked about on this one album. Like I said, I've always been a reality artist. Sometimes I rap about other people's stories. It wouldn't even be my story, just general stuff.
Right.
But I've never been this deep into my personal life.
Okay. What was the impetus for that? We talked about, again, before we hopped on here, that you have like creative spurts, essentially. Right. You take 2 or 3 months to really put something out, and then you'll take a little bit more time off and then come back to the creative process again. What was that creative process like for Sorry for My Trauma? Like what birthed this?
Inspired by therapy, 100%. I started therapy during COVID because I had a lot of time with nothing. Basically just being, what was it called? We were stuck in the houses, quarantine.
Yeah. The lockdowns.
Man. And so much time to think, man. An idle mind is a devil's playground. So I just felt like a lot of things were coming to the forefront mentally, and I just felt like I needed to address them. And I just had too much time, man. And I'm a thinker. So as I was going through my therapy process with my therapist, he just kept telling me to incorporate these things into my music. And I'm just like, I don't know about that. Like, this is a little too deep, but he's like, trust me, man, like you don't have to put it out. Just that's how you express yourself. Just write it down.
Sure.
Started doing it. I actually wrote in pen and pad, which I never do anymore. Like, it's been years since I've literally wrote something down. I would do it in my phone.
Right.
Just felt different, man. And I'm just reading back and I'm just like, oh yeah, like this needs to be released.
Right.
I didn't want to hold that in. Yeah.
For sure. So obviously the pandemic, very much a, I want to say influence, but like a prompt for wanting to go to therapy. Was there anything else that was like driving you to do that? Like anybody's like, oh, Skypp, I think you need to go, talk to somebody to just whatever, or how did that journey in particular start?
Well, I'll tell you what, my wife is a therapist.
Okay.
She encouraged me, but I think what really did it was her persuading me to go to premarital counseling.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so we went to premarital counseling, and I just liked how it felt. I'm just like, okay, this is different. I'm not used to talking. Here's a person that knows how to get me to talk. They've been trained to make me feel comfortable speaking.
Sure.
And I was speaking, man, and I'm just like, I think I might want to do this for myself. Like, this is cool for our relationship, but I think this would be very helpful for me personally.
Yeah.
So I just took it amongst myself to go ahead and reach out to a few different therapy companies and just try to find the right fit first, the right match. And I don't regret it, man.
For sure.
Not one bit.
I love it because I recently started my therapy journey 6 months ago, and I think one of the things that scared me away from it for so long was finding that right person. I had heard a lot of people share their stories and like interviewing like 5-10 different people and still struggling to find that right person. And I was lucky enough to whittle it down to 2 and then find that person for me. And it's been life-changing. It's had the single greatest impact on my life outside of meeting my wife, who, if I had not met, I don't know that I would be at this position right now. What was it like to find your person as a therapist? What in that person? Like, what was that? How did that feel?
Well, I'll tell you what, having the wrong person made me feel like therapy was a waste of time.
Mm.
But when I did finally find the right person, like it just felt, I don't know, like kind of supernatural
Oh
because
yeah.
like that person can read you and they know what to ask, they know what not to ask in the moment, depending on how your vibe is and how you feeling that day. I don't know, man. It's just kind of like the chemistry is it's ridiculous, man. And we have such a good relationship. Sometimes I'm the therapist.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So it's just it's great. And I think it happens sooner than later for me, which is
Sure.
pretty cool. I know some people probably have a struggle
Yeah.
finding their match, but man, it's just I don't know, it's life changing, like you said.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, it's like, I've been talking to a lot of people about what it means to be in community with other folks. And I
Right.
think, like, for me, finding the Asian American community, the adoptee community was really important. But where I really hit my stride was when I found, like, the people, like my people in those respective communities. And I feel the same with therapy. Like, you find that right person, and it's like, oh, damn, like, I'm on the move now. Like, we're
Right.
really, like, making progress. And I think it's so... Like it's really hard to describe the impact without like really getting into the whole story of like why you're in therapy or like what you're really talking about and uncovering. And we're not going to drag all that out today because we'll be here for another 4 hours, but
Yeah.
if not longer. But I mean, it's just so powerful and important. And when I was growing up, therapy was stigmatized. Mental health was, like, especially in men, like, this is not something you talk about. You don't talk about your feelings. You just
Right.
live your life and you suck it up. You don't cry, and I feel like I was always very emotional, but I was never in touch with those emotions. And now being
Yeah.
in therapy has like helped me get to really this point of being able to resource and manage those things in a healthy way and not like suppress them, but like work with them to create even better stuff. I think another interesting thing is like, sorry for my trauma came out of some of these sessions with your
Right.
therapist who's like encouraging you to write down some of these things that you're thinking about, that you're talking about. What was it like to collaborate? I'm assuming that you've worked with a lot of other artists and you've collaborated with them on music and you've done a lot of that. What was it like to collaborate with your therapist to essentially make this album?
Yeah, it was very different because when you collaborate with an artist, like they recommend stuff that would make the song better, but he recommended stuff that not only made the song better, but made me better and made me dive deeper into what was already written. So I would take back lyrics to him, like, this is what I wrote today. I would kind of read it more so as a poem than a rap verse,
Sure.
but I read it to him and he would ask me questions about what I wrote. Oh man, so what triggered that thought when you wrote that? Or tell me more about the story of that part. You know what I mean? Like, and it'll make me think deeper into what I'm saying. So essentially, I'm writing a song, which is good because I'm creating music and an album, but I'm also unpacking stuff
Right.
that I didn't know was packed up.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool, man.
Didn't know that it was packed up. That's a good. I like that language, the way you put that. One of my favorite tracks is that closer. My real name is Byron, and you talk a little bit about how the moniker of Skypp came to be, which resulted in having to leave Byron behind.
Right.
Obviously, you have been in therapy, working through this, unpacking it. What has come of this process of reclaiming or reconnecting with young Byron or that version of yourself as you've been Skypp and as you've been going through this new process now and as this album has come about? What has that been like?
Just mental and emotional stability. It's just like I was very unstable for a majority of my life. It wasn't until I was about 28, 29 where I finally found some stability because I understood. I understood where everything stemmed from.
Sure.
And I addressed it. And I may not have solved everything, but I addressed it. And I
Right.
just felt better about myself, knowing that I tried. You know what I mean? I still try every day, but I never was stable mentally or emotionally. I lost so many friends. I think I've lost over 30 friends if I got to just throw a number out there. So all
Yeah.
that stuff was just building up on top of the fact that I had an identity crisis going on.
Sure.
So I think just therapy and all that whole journey just helped me find some stability finally. Yeah. And I got out the streets and I got a job. Now I got financial stability. I know I'm gonna get a check every, it's just stability. Honestly,
sure.
like And that's probably the most important part of life, and it's so underrated, is stability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's so underrated? I feel like there's a lot of reasons for you, I guess. Why do you feel like it was always always deemed underrated?
Because I don't feel like you can ever progress if you're not stable.
Mm.
I feel like if you're just always up and down, like it's gonna break even.
Sure.
But I don't think it's gonna consistently move forward.
Mm.
You know, stability is consistency.
Right.
If you're inconsistent, then are you really moving forward? Like you might go 20 steps forward one day and feel like you made great progress, but for the next four days, you might go back 5 steps.
Right.
That's still 20. You still broke even.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's inconsistency. There's nothing good about that.
It's like the major like peaks and valleys of life, and it's not necessarily like you said, consistent climb.
Right.
It is just like you're suffering from the ups and downs without, I don't know, yeah, like you're not making progress, I guess.
It feels like you are, because some days are really good days.
Yeah.
But then you have a stretch of bad days, and it's like, oh, did I even make it anywhere after all that? You know, but stability is where you take 5 steps forward a day, every day. And maybe you will have a bad day, but you had so many good days, you know you've moved forward.
That's the consistency.
Yes.
I love it.
And the stability, yeah.
I love it. Another thing that your music, I think, has always done, but particularly in this album, has shedding this specific experience of what it means to be black, not just only in America, but specifically here in Indianapolis.
Right.
How do you define that experience for this city, I guess, from your specific perspective? And as somebody who's been able to travel around the country and experience Black America and all these other places, how do you feel like it differs from other cities like a Chicago or Atlanta or somewhere else?
I just feel like people don't even realize it's a black community in Indiana. Like when I travel anywhere, they're like, where you from? Indiana. Really? Indiana? Like it just has a reputation.
Sure.
And there's nothing black about the reputation of Indiana. So it's kind of like trying to find your voice in this city and state. This city is probably has the most black people out of Indiana.
Sure.
The rest of them are like predominantly white or whatever else. Like,
right.
It's not many black people, but it's like trying to find your voice. Like sometimes we get stuck in our own community where we're like, oh, we got to go impress this person in the community, but we don't realize how big of a world it is out there because we're just so used to being closed in and like, I want to say abandoned, but it's like the rest of Indiana doesn't acknowledge our small community.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's our fault. I don't know. I don't really know how deep that gets, but it just feels like our voices are being suppressed. And it feels like everything we do never breaks out of this city. And I think that's some of our fault. But at the same time, I don't know. It's a battle.
That's so interesting. I had Samson Livingston on the show the episode before this one, and he talked about how, because he's big into history, you know, and particularly black history in the state, and he said there's not really any point that you can look at where there hasn't been black people affecting the history of the state.
Right.
You really can't see that.
That is true.
But like what you're saying, though, is if it's not in Indy, people don't really understand or realize that, and it can feel maybe not just suppressive, but oppressive in a way, like where it's just like people don't want to know for whatever reason, especially in these predominantly white areas that surround Indianapolis. We talked earlier about, you shared how the music scene here particularly was very much thriving, and it's not like that anymore. And do you think that has contributed to this inability at the moment to break beyond the Indianapolis barrier?
Yeah, because like I said, it falls right under the stability and consistency umbrella.
Sure.
Because it's like if we would have been able to keep that momentum that we had then up until now, we'd be in a totally different place. But it's like we had to start over because we took so many steps back.
Sure.
We're taking steps forward, but we took so many steps back, we're behind.
Yeah.
So even though we feel like so progressive right now, like, oh man, we're killing it, we're still trying to catch up for all the time we lost.
Sure.
Because everything just went to hell for it's like a 7-year stretch. Everything just went to hell. And now we're building something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you share like what happened at that time? Like you said, it was there, and then stuff happened and it fell off, and now we're trying to get back. Like what went on that?
Just a lot of drama, a lot of murders, a lot of imprisonment. Our top artists, and I mean literally all of them, either died or went to prison. For that moment in time, that was thriving. Every one of them, except for maybe Maxie, tragic, stayed out of trouble. The rest of them, they died or they went to prison. And I'm talking about every single one.
Damn.
So what's left at that point?
Sure.
You got a lot of people who weren't big names, but, they were respected, trying to carry the torch for the people. But
right.
It's like the same thing. We're taking steps backwards when we lose them.
Right.
Now we got to build up people who weren't at their level,
sure.
And it just didn't work. Like, it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So we kind of hurt ourselves with that, just all the violence in our community and all the petty beef, it just everything fell apart. And now there is no street scene anymore. Now it's more of a hip hop scene.
Okay.
Rather than like a rap scene. And
gotcha.
It's a big difference between rap and hip hop. So we have more of a hip hop driven scene now, which is good for us. But like I said, it's going to be a minute before that scene can get to where that other scene was.
Sure.
Because
for people who don't know, can you define the difference between rap and hip hop?
Yeah, I feel like rap is a subsidiary of hip hop. I feel like hip hop is the ultimate genre.
Okay, it's like the umbrella thing that things fall under.
Like, it's way more universal. Hip hop is universal.
Okay.
You might Wu-Tang Clan is hip hop.
Sure.
But then you got rap, which is not under, but it's like a form of hip hop. Hip hop is the big dog, but rap is a form of hip hop to me.
Right.
So rap is like a little more gritty, a little more dark.
Sure.
That's just how I look at it. That's how it was taught to me, that hip hop was the universal language and rap was kind of like the streets language.
And you feel like we are more of a hip hop scene now
Absolutely.
than before.
Way more diverse.
Okay.
Extremely diverse now.
And what do we do? You said that like we are taking those 5 steps forward now.
Yeah.
It looks like. What is that? I guess what does that look like?
I feel like we just have way more corporate approval now. Like, we're on news stations consistently. They're letting us come and perform songs on the news stations. Shout out to Gang Gang. They are doing incredible things. Shreese.
Yep.
Doing incredible things. This stuff didn't exist then. It was just hot names.
Sure.
It wasn't hot events and news stations accepting us in. Like, a news station wouldn't have let those rappers rap on the news.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But now we have people who make acceptable music to, mainstream.
Sure.
To the mainstream. So it's just a much different climate.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, it's like a timing thing. Do you think it's like timing too? Like, I don't want to say that the scene had to experience the 7 years of tragedy and trauma, to get to this point. But for whatever reason, like, at least from this perspective, it feels like it was almost the wrong time for this to happen. And I hate to use even the language of like, it's acceptable now to have rap or hip hop be mainstream type of thing.
Right.
But it does feel like we're at a place where it's like, okay, we can listen to this and we'll be happy with it.
Right. I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah.
I think it's subjective, but I don't think you're wrong.
Sure.
Yeah.
What, like, we have Shreese, Gang Gang is doing a lot, and like we're just seeing a lot of growth, I feel like, and a lot, like you said, it's just like you're seeing people on the news now, which I think is so interesting to see people performing there in a place that is not necessarily social media culture.
It's not made for that. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, it's like in Indiana and Indianapolis specifically, that's still a platform that you want. That's like
Absolutely.
a great logo to throw on your thing as you promote yourself. Who are some people that you're seeing right now? Because you also talked about, we have to build up names that didn't have the credibility or hadn't been in the game for long before. And then we've lost so many people. Now we have to build up new folks. Like, who are you seeing that's starting to come up? Maxi's still here doing his thing. You're still here doing your thing. Who else is breaking into this scene or has been here that we're really starting to throw some shine at?
Yeah. One of my favorite artists is Baby Ebony. I think he's amazing. You got young guys like 4200 Corey, who is really like stepping on people, and he's not. He's going extremely hard, and he's smart. He's not just music driven. He's business minded also. Draco McCoy, always been a pretty dope and consistent artist. Like, honestly, I could literally go a million years. Like, we have no shortage of artists in this city. And the talent, like I said, is so diverse and it's so like it's all over the place. You got Sirius Black and Oreo Jones who make a brand of hip hop I've never heard. Draco is more like he's even in his rock bag. He like, mashes together rap and hip and hip hop and rock. You know, like it's way more diverse.
Yeah.
And then you got your regular, you know, your street rappers, and you got your backpack rappers. Like we have no shortage of artists, man.
I think that's a beautiful thing. Is there like a collective or coalition that's bringing people together to like take this? Well, okay, let me actually ask you this. Do you think because we have such a diverse sound now that there is such a thing in the hip hop scene of Indianapolis as an Indianapolis sound?
We used to have a sound.
Okay.
But I don't think there is a sound anymore.
Okay. Do you think that's a strength or a weakness?
I think as of right now, it could be a weakness. Because as we're trying to make a name for our city, we don't have that consistency of a sound.
Okay.
When you listen to Memphis rap, it all sounds the same. Detroit, it all sounds the same.
Sure.
You know, but we don't have that here. It's super. We used to have it though, but it's just super diverse now.
That feels like a good evolution, I think.
Yeah.
You know, to have a diversity of sound.
Yeah, it is, but it's just there's no Naptown sound. Like if someone was to hear, if someone was to try to like make a Naptown song, like we have nowhere to start. So it's kind of a weakness.
Interesting.
But at the same time, it's not a weakness because it's like we can pick from all of these sounds we have.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone's going to do that because it's going to seem like, oh, you're jocking my sound. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And it's just too much pride in the city. Everybody wants to be the first to make it, you know, because no one has made it. So it turns into a pride thing at that point.
Sure.
You know? But
that
back
could be
then,
a weakness sometimes.
Yeah.
Where we let it get the pride or ego get in front of what could help us collectively,
right.
You know, all come up.
And I'll tell you what made us have a sound then, it was the producers.
Okay.
Everybody wanted to shop with the hot producers. So a producer has a sound.
Right.
Naturally. Like they have a certain way they want their beats to sound. And that's what made it a sound. Swift the Gift was the hottest producer in the city. He did Jiggle 8. He did all the hot beats, and his beats had a consistent sound.
Yeah.
And that was our sound then, you know.
Okay.
Now we don't have that. We have too many producers.
Too many producers.
Yeah, too many producers.
Okay.
Which is it's not a weakness.
Right.
But it's not a strength for us either, you know.
Right. We're still figuring out, again, we're still like taking the 5 steps to build, you know, something again of
right.
what it was.
Yeah.
And bring all of these diverse sounds together
right.
as one thing. This is very interesting. I wonder, well, okay, I'm wearing Nap or Nothing.
Me too.
You got your
Nap
I
or Nothing.
got
Slum House, but it's still Nap or Nothing. Yeah.
But like, I think that's so interesting what he's doing with that brand and
right.
bringing artists underneath that, just a Nap or Nothing label to like produce creative outlets like this, like clothing, also to host shows and do things, you know, in the space. Do you think that could be that potential umbrella?
Yeah.
That we could operate under?
Yeah, I speak to them about this all the time because we had something called the 465 movement back in those days where it was thriving. It didn't work because of prides and egos, but ironically, I just reached out to those people, and Maxie was one of the people, and I'm like, maybe we should give this another try. Okay. Like, we don't have to call it the 465 movement,
right.
but we should give it another try. I think it's a good time to do that.
Yeah.
And they're willing to sit down to talk about it. I've just been too busy to follow up.
Sure.
But it's super possible. Like, I've been talking to Maxie about pushing the Nap or Nothing brand further outside of apparel.
Right.
Like, I know it could work.
Yeah. Well, then that's something that you can take to another city. Like, okay, so people don't know this, but we're recording our second conversation. In our last conversation, we talked about how do we take a group of artists from indie with this diverse sound and go to a Chicago, a Louisville, or just some other place, you know, that's drivable. But then, like, go there, and it's not just, oh, that's Skypp from Indiana. It's like, oh, that's the Nap or Nothing crew. That's right. Naptown. Like,
Absolutely.
That's that sound. Like, I think that's so interesting, and that's, like you said, it's so possible.
Right.
Is it just about starting to have these conversations now?
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's that and putting our prize to the side, which I don't think prize will be much of an issue in today's.
Sure.
Yeah, and what we have today, it won't be much of an issue.
Sure.
You know, we have way more accepting artists and humble artists, and it's just not. They don't make it about them.
Right.
That's why Streets works.
Yes.
You know, but
for sure.
I think it could absolutely work without a doubt in my mind. It's just going to take the conversation, like you said, and somebody stepping up and putting themselves last, which is really hard for me to do. You actually, like, why have you done it, Skypp? Because I don't want to I don't want to put myself last. Like, I feel like, I guess that's a part of the pride.
Right. Well, that's what we talked about when at the very beginning of this conversation. What got you into this? What really excited you about it was that rap and hip hop is this way to success, this way to make it, and especially at that time, but just kind of any in general, success doesn't always fall on the we. Like it very internal,
Right.
but it can be part of that collective. It's just and I don't even necessarily think it's about putting your pride or your ego aside all the time. It's about how do we mesh and mold all these things together.
Right. Yeah.
It's very interesting. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, me too. It's tough.
Yeah.
I wish there was a non-artist person that could just take the lead and, pick who he thinks is, right now and just move forward with it. But it's going to be hard for an artist to lead this.
Sure.
Because what's going to happen is if Skypp decides to do this and Skypp makes himself a priority artist.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even got to finish it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and then even if you didn't do that, like people would probably in their own minds have this perception that if you didn't pick them, oh, Skypp is, this is the Skypp
Right.
show.
Yeah, and Skypp picked his friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be tough. And I think about these type of things because I'm more solution driven. Like I want to find solutions.
Yeah.
I don't want to just, try to dig myself out of holes I didn't have to be in the first place.
Exactly. Why would we put ourselves in the hole when we don't have to go down there? We can start here, and the consistency part of that and the stability part of that is so key. And I hadn't thought about that, but I think you're right. I don't know if it can be an artist who puts the coalition together because it's like they don't have to remove themselves in that way.
Because it wasn't an artist last time that did it.
Okay.
That started it. It was the artist that killed it, but it wasn't the artist that started it.
Sure.
And that's why the artists were able to sit down and listen. Because it's like, okay, I can listen to this guy. Yeah. He's not trying to take my spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So like what role did they hold then?
They were like
DJs
and producers and just people who had like pull in the industry. It might be executive decisions, but not an artist.
Okay.
Nobody that could threaten my spot.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, we need to get those people.
We have them.
Yeah.
And those are the people I was talking to about it.
Gotcha.
Like, hey, let's sit down and try to figure this out. And I even threw out some other names of people who could, be great leaders for this cause.
Sure.
Who also weren't artists. So
sure.
Honestly, they told me to reach back out. I just never did because life is crazy.
You got stuff going on, and you got to hoop too.
Yeah.
Speaking of hooping, and speaking of like this particular topic, like we are coming off the back of the All-Star Game hosted here in the city. I think it's big for a lot of different people and organizations for a lot of different reasons. Big for the city itself, for a lot of eyes to now be on Indy. I think now, like having had this conversation, it makes me think about how the artists in this city could potentially use this as a platform or a springboard to maybe like think about, how can we come together and really kickstart this conversation?
Right.
For you and from your perspective, like what do you hope comes out of this big moment for Indianapolis as an artist? And do you think that this can serve as a catalyst for those types of conversations we've been talking about?
It could. We have some pretty cool people who are a part of the All-Star Weekend Committee, local people who have a good interest. They have our best interests as artists and as just an Indianapolis community. They've been unleashing some things and they've been trying to do what they can for us, but ultimately these conversations should have been started.
Sure.
It's going to help us. It's going to help our city, that is. I don't know if it's going to help us, but it's going to help our city. Our city is going to grow from this. I just don't know if we have put into place everything we could have to make sure we're secure too. So maybe there could be some exposure because like all of our places that we regularly visit and perform at are going to be packed with stars.
Sure.
Hopefully we can get in those doors and get some exposure. If we can't get in those doors, hopefully we can be outside those doors waiting for them to come out.
Sure.
To get exposure. Like the opportunities are endless.
Yeah.
I just think the key word is opportunity.
Right.
We're going to have to build some opportunities for ourselves because they may not be given to us in this. I don't think we were prepared, But I mean, they're like I said, gang, and that whole All-Star committee, they're doing what they can for us.
Sure.
It's just we didn't put them in a position to make it easy for us.
Interesting.
Yeah.
In what way do you think that? In what way did you not put them in the position? I guess.
I just feel like we started too late. Like
Okay.
people just started having these conversations like in the past year. Like, hey man, we need to start getting ready for All-Star Weekend, making sure we got a stage. You know, we should have been booking these places and making them go through us,
right?
So that we have some pull,
sure,
stuff like that. But we didn't do that,
right? It's like instead of like right as it got announced, Indy 2024 All-Star. And we like instead of hitting the ground running, then it was we wait for a year.
We just kept waiting. Some people are still just now about to make their move, but at this point it's too late. Things are already secure, whether they've been announced or not. Yeah, you know what I mean. And we weren't prepared, and we just didn't do what we should have done. We did something, just not what we should have done.
Sure, I think it's a good. I mean, I think at the end of the day, even if it doesn't happen in the way that it could have happened, I think it's a good lesson.
Absolutely.
And I think that what I really hope comes out of All-Star is that people will genuinely see that Indianapolis is not just the flyover country. It's not just a place that you bring your corporation to, or that, you can host like a one-off event. It's like some place that we can have sustainable cultural impact, and because there is culture here. And even if you don't necessarily think about it, because I think when Indianapolis gets roped into the rest of Indiana, and I'm from the rest of Indiana, I don't have a problem with it really, but at the end of the day, like, it is a pretty stark difference. It is almost white and black, when you think about it. And what I hope comes out of this is that people can just see, okay, there are reasons to come here for events and community things outside of just every 3, 5, 6 years.
Yeah.
And we can build that sustainability, that consistency that we need and then we can latch onto those opportunities and really make them happen.
I think when it's all said and done, positive things will come out of it.
Yeah.
It's just not what we could have. We just insecure a lot. But I think overall, they will definitely get to experience our culture. Sure. They're bringing the Butter Art Festival. They're bringing Shreese. They're going to see us. Yeah. We just could have made them like not. We could have gave them no option to not see us. Sure. Now they have an option to see us, but it's not like mandatory.
Right. It's almost like it's kind of selective. Like you can see what you want to see still, but there's a little bit of awareness gap that we could have filled.
They're going to have private parties and stuff. Right. They don't have to come see us. Some people would be like, hey, let's see what Indiana got to offer. Right. And they'll go to check out our stuff. Yeah. But most people would be like, oh, P. Diddy having a private party. I'm going to go with what I know. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
it's okay though, man. Like I said, it's never too late. Even though we're on a late notice, we could force things to happen. Right. We could be out here with a 465 movement, 100 people, and you can't ignore it. Right. We can do that, but will it happen? Yeah. You know what I mean?
But I hope that it also serves as like a wake up call to like realize when these things happen or before they happen that we should be making them happen regardless.
Facts. And that's why I appreciate a gang, that corporation, because they were thinking ahead. Right. But they're not for the artists; they're for just the culture of Indianapolis, which is great. Yeah. But for us as artists, we got to build something for ourselves that's of the likes of a gang. Sure. We just haven't done that for ourselves yet. But we definitely appreciate people who involve us. Right. In their plans.
But but again, it's like still they're bringing you in. It's not something that you've created yourself. Yeah. And I think that's, again, we haven't had a lot of models. And for the hip hop community, you had a model for a minute, like kind of, and then it broke apart, unfortunately. And now it's like, we're building that and getting back to that. And hopefully like a gang, like a Streets can serve as a model for how you bring this artist collective together. Right. And then take advantage of everything that is there on the table to be taken.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt.
Skypp, I appreciate you sitting down, having this conversation with me. Dropping so much knowledge. I have just another question. Two more questions. One of them's a fun one. One of them's the standard conversation piece question. NBA All-Star always has a celebrity game. Mm-hmm. And I've been asking all the guests that I've had on because they've just coincidentally happened to be hoopers like yourself. If you were tapped to play in the Celebrity All-Star game, how many points you putting up?
A lot of things factor into that question.
Everybody's got a different answer.
Who's
I love
guarding
it.
me? Right? Who knows that I can play?
Mm.
That's going to make a big difference on how they set the tone. But if I didn't play the days before and my legs feel good, I'm MVP.
Oh, MVP.
Yeah, I'm going to be MVP.
I love it.
I'm going to be the MVP because I'm going to try hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is another opportunity for me to, showcase something. And one thing about me, when I'm on the stage, like,
you're going to show out.
Yeah, it's going to be no shortage. So, like, I'm going to go.
MVP.
Yeah.
I love that answer.
Yeah.
That's my favorite answer so far.
I'm going to be the MVP. Like, there's nothing you can do. And if I feel like you're threatening my position for MVP, I'm going to lock you up. Like, I'm going to, yeah. You got to be 6'7" or something to.
Even then, you're locked out. You perimeter lockdown. Yeah, for sure.
I'm just super competitive, bro.
Yeah.
Like, they better never put me in any kind of celebrity games. Like, they're gonna be like, Skypp, you were doing way too much. Like,
I want to see that. I want to see a competitive celebrity game for sure. I feel like we could put a competitive celebrity game out with just indie people.
Absolutely, and they've done it.
Yeah,
and like the last Midwest League celebrity game, like it was so intense because it went down to the wire. It was a game winner shot. It was so intense that the next week we were like, let's run it back. Let's do it again. You know what I mean? Like we wanted our get back.
Born out of.
We wanted our get back so bad, man.
Man, that is hilarious. All right, I love that answer. MVP. I vote for you, Skypp. I vote for that MVP. 100%. Again, appreciate you sitting down. Last but not least, for folks out here who have been listening, who have been watching, who are ready to figure out to follow you through the rest of 2024 and beyond, how do we support you?
Yeah, I mean, you can follow me on social media, Skypp317, SKYPP317. My artist name is Skypp. Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, all that good stuff. It's available. It's out there. But more than anything, just follow the journey, man. If you never buy anything, if you only stream, that's appreciated. If you only support my Instagram page, just appreciate it. You know what I mean? Like, beggars can't be choosers. Sure. You know what I mean? So whatever kind of support, whatever kind of love you got to give, it'll be accepted and appreciated for sure.
For sure. Well, folks, y'all know that you can find everything, including Sorry for My Trauma, all the rest of Skypp's music linked down here in the show notes. Make sure that you connect with him. Make sure you follow him. Make sure you follow everything that's going on in the city right now. It's important, and it is only helping us grow, taking them 5 steps forward. Skypp, man, I appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir. I appreciate being here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Everybody else, you can connect with us on Instagram at Conversation Podpiece. New episodes of the show drop every Tuesday, wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. Make sure you leave us a rating and review on all of those platforms. And make sure you sign up for our newsletter, Conversation Piece newsletter, dropping every Monday. Paid subscribers get exclusive access to our companion show, Conversation Notes. That's every Wednesday. Cannot wait to share this episode and more with y'all. We have some really incredible content coming up. I'm also a dad right now, so that's exciting. I'll probably be talking about that soon. But until then, I've been the titular Patrick. This has been Conversation Piece, and this has been Skypp. We'll see y'all soon.